What's up, Timo? This is
Timo.
Hey,
Friendos. That's something people say.
Yeah. What's up, friends? This is another episode of Good Luck High Five.
Specifically, episode 301.
Ooh, if you missed it, that means last week was our 300th episode.
Yes.
And it is, as promised, a musical.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Thanks again to Brian Allen, our wonderful keyboardist and composer. And if you didn't see it, check it out on YouTube. Check it out on whatever podcast app you listen to podcasts on, because it's great.
On YouTube, you can see our special Brian Allen cam.
Yeah.
Which has also, I have to say, the most perfectly placed Muppet in the history of background Muppets.
That's accurate.
It's the best work I'll ever do.
You don't want to miss that.
So please go check that out. This is a podcast about Magic the Gathering, BT dubs.
By the way,
whether you are new to the game, you're returning to the game, you play all the time, just constantly, like some of us.
Who will remain nameless.
Or you're just having a real good time being part of your Magic community. We're here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Meghan.
And we've been sitting talking in these mics for 301 episodes.
Wow. Actually, it wasn't these
true.
mics at the beginning.
It was this one. This one has been, my mic has been here from the beginning.
Really? How
Yes.
do you know it was that one and not this one?
Because yours is slightly newer, and I can tell by they look a little different.
Oh.
Yeah.
What expertise.
This microphone has sure heard a lot in its day.
It really has. Someone, a couple of episodes ago, we were like, I wonder how many words we've said.
Oh, yeah.
And some people did the math, and it's like millions.
It is millions.
Which is terrifying.
Wow, that's
honestly.
so wild. Whew. Millions of words.
Millions.
And you know who we have to thank for those words?
You. Specifically, those of you who are listening right now, and those of you who are patrons of the podcast right now, or in the future. If you're a future patron of this podcast,
oh my gosh, you're great.
You're so great. And this thanks will extend to you as well. Patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Nailed it.
It's the place to go if you would like to support the show.
Wow, we're still in musical mode.
Yeah, we sure are. All those rhymes.
We have our base tier at $5 a month, but which translates to $1.25 an episode, or
cents per day.
You can set whatever level you want. If you just want to throw a buck a month our way as well, that's totally cool.
Yes.
And really helps us keep doing what we're doing and grow and expand our show. Big thanks to cardkingdom.com/GLHF as well. That's the link to use if you want to buy any of their cool stuff on their website. And we have to say thank you to them too, not only for being our sponsor for so long, but for sending us this.
It's a beautiful plaque.
Look it!
Right now, if you're watching the video, you are seeing a beautiful plaque. If you are only listening,
I don't know if you
describe
can
it
see
for
it.
you.
It's like crystal.
It's so clear. I took a photo of it, and you can see entirely through it because it's beautiful. That makes it sound like we're imagining it.
They sent us
you
this
can see
fake trophy
through it.
It says congratulations on 300 episodes. Love, CK.
It's so cute.
I love it so much.
And that just shows, they don't show that kind of love only to the different content creators that they sponsor. They show it to their customers.
Absolutely.
With like hand-drawn tokens and putting, if you request one of our stickers, you can get a sticker in your order. So yeah, they're being great.
They're really cool. If you want to buy anything from them, and we encourage you to, it's cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Another quick thank you this week too goes out to Pat's Games in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, they sent us some real cute stuff, which is they got us
some guild kits.
Pre-release guild kits, because we've talked about how the first pre-release we ever went to was there. And it was during which one was it?
It was Gate Crash,
which was another Ravnica plane.
Yeah.
So they sent Maria a Boros, and they sent me an Izzet. And they were like, we're sorry that you couldn't make it out to our store for this pre-release.
I love it.
It is so sweet.
We should have a re-release and where we build and play each other.
Wow. Into it.
A re-release. And they sent us cool Pat's Game shirts. So those are going to be included in some of our prize packages that we give away throughout the month and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So thanks to them. Check them out if you're ever in Austin. Well,
Texas.
coming up on the show today, let's give you a rundown. We've got lots of news. A lot of news has happened.
Yes,
which
there
it tends to do as time passes.
News, it tends to happen.
Coming up at 10:30, WPPP News. It tends to happen.
It does.
With Tom Overby and Michelle Kringkrot.
Kringkrot?
Yeah.
What a name. When I imagine it, it's like KRINGCROTT.
Oh.
Kringkrot.
I was imagining 2 C's, but the K really sells it.
I think there's one at the beginning.
Okay.
That's how I see it. Anyways.
Our fake news team is the best news team in northern Iowa.
Oh, wow.
That's where they are.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. In case you didn't know.
I didn't.
From
I
their
really
names.
didn't. The Kringkrots.
Yeah.
They've been living in northern Iowa for decades. Decades. We're also going to have a standard corner because there's been a lot of standard action happening.
Yes, and we are very close to the Pro Tour, and this means that the pros, and us too, are trying to settle in on what decks we're going to be playing for the rest of the season, potentially.
What is best and what is...
more best.
Yes. Great.
We're also going to get a check-in on Guild's draft because it's been a while since we talked about this, and we've had enough time now to play the format to the point where we can say confidently, this is what you should do, and this is what you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. And we will not be wrong about any of it. That's a promise.
Will not be wrong.
The news you can use.
That's right. How are you going to use it? Well, that's up to you. We're just here to tell you the news and not how you use that news.
Feel free to make it into whatever you want, like paper mache. Use it to craft a new wreath for your door.
You're talking about
season.
paper news?
Yeah. News you can use.
Okay. How many people here? How many people
You can literally
here?
use it.
Wait, how many people listening right now, when we were talking about news you can use, thought that we were talking about a newspaper as opposed to words that people say at you? Please tweet at us with the hashtag news you use.
You can use it to wrap old fish.
We're not talking about newspapers.
You can use it to print your silly putty on, and then it comes up and it has the newsprint
Maria,
on it.
you and I have never printed a newspaper.
How dare you? I certainly put one out in high school.
Did you go down to the inkery and ink the
I printed it
ink
from
the
my
pages yourself?
home printer.
Did you really?
Yes.
That seems about right, actually. All
Sure
right,
did.
that checks out. Anyways, news.
Yes.
First up, GP New Jersey.
Yeah. So this was our American GP this past weekend.
Yes.
And it was standard format as we
Yes.
get ready for the Pro Tour. And by the way, so this was not the only one this weekend. There's also one in Lille and completely different results.
As opposed to big.
It's a very tiny town.
I'm sorry.
Lille.
I'm sorry. I apologize to all
You better
of,
apologize to Lille right now.
all of France. I apologize to the entirety of France.
Lille.
That's where it is, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know where else there'd be
gonna
a
be
city
a-
called Lille. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So the winner of GP New Jersey was Eli Cassis,
Yes.
a pro player who is well known in the community for being, good. And let's go through.
You know, a good player.
We're going to go through these deck lists more in detail in our standard corner.
Yes.
Brad Nelson got runner-up. He was playing Boros Angels. Eli Cassis was playing Jeskai Control.
Yes.
So those were our top 2 decks in that tournament. Megan,
Yeah.
Jeskai Control, does that make you feel happy inside?
It does. As much as I can feel happy.
Whoa. That was dark. I was not expecting that. I've got to be
darker
honest
than
with
I
you.
anticipated it being, but here we are.
And then over in Lille, it's so tiny. Mono Red Aggro was the deck of the tournament,
Barf.
which
Oh, no. How dare they?
which we can both
How dare they?
be equally upset about. Etienne Bousson was the one who was playing Mono Red Aggro.
That jerk. I've never met him in my
Seems
life.
like a nice man.
Oh, does he?
Can he possibly be if this is what he played?
I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Wow. Hot
Yeah.
take. Well, we're going to get into this deck more once again later on. And the runner-up deck was Mono Blue Tempo in the hands of none other than Gabriel Nassif of the Hall of Fame.
All right.
So that's pretty cool and very different
Yes.
results from these two tournaments.
Wow. So,
Tournament number 3.
yes.
There was not only those two, was an SCG Classic.
True.
Okay, and this one had the weirdest result of all.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
All right, so the number 1 deck there was by Ali Antrazi, which is a known name in the player community as well, playing what he called, quote, 5-color control.
Ali Antrazi was the national champion for several years because he was the last person to win the U.S. national championship before they discontinued it for
Oh,
a while.
really?
And then they started it up again.
That's great.
So anyways, that's a fact. There you go.
Fun
Moving on.
fact, I have a better name for this 5-color control deck.
Which is?
Rainbow Lich. So it's 5,
Delightful.
which is 5 color, of course,
Yes.
a nod to the rainbow. And Lich is for Lich's Mastery,
Ooh.
which is kind of how you win in this deck. It's
Yeah.
very absurd.
Yes, there's 3 copies of the Mirari Conjecture. 3. Weird choice of number.
I mean, this
but
deck
okay.
is just straight up bizarre.
2 Chance for Glory.
Yeah, you need that.
Oh my goodness. Chance for Glory and Lich's Mastery?
Yeah.
Wow.
This deck is just completely bananas, and I've been watching it online as people kind of play it like a meme deck, right? Guess what? It
What?
won a tournament. Like,
I'm
is
so
this deck
happy.
real? So
I hope so.
we'll find out.
Wow.
There you go.
So that's great. That's great.
That was really cool to have 3 different results from 3 separate tournaments.
Yeah.
I think.
And just going into our standard corner segment later
Yeah.
just shows how much room there still is
I
for
know.
people to be sifting through, like panning for gold in the Old West.
Ooh,
When actually, that's a contemporary thing still, you know?
panning for gold in the Old West.
No, not the Old West part of it.
Oh, okay, dang
But like
it.
panning for gold.
People still go out and pan for gold out there?
Yes.
I pan for gold like in a science museum where it's a cheat.
Yeah.
And they just put a nugget in there and they're like, look, you did it. Now give me that back, kid. It needs to be there for the next kid.
Oh, I've
was
never
very
had that
sad.
experience.
I've got tickets to the science museum.
What?
I do.
You have tickets to the science
Yes,
museum?
I was tipped them. I was tipped in tickets to the science museum
Who tipped you? Tickets?
for a show. We did a comedy show and they tipped us in tickets
tickets?
to the science museum.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
All right, moving on.
Anyway, they have it there. Wait, but people are just doing this out there? Like there's still
Yes.
gold? Nobody got it all?
I don't think people got it all.
Oh, there's still more. Excellent. We have much more advanced panning techniques these days. I
Yeah,
think, than
they
had
have
back
like,
then.
now there's like backhoes. Why are you
As
laughing?
opposed
I'm
to
being
just a little
serious.
tray?
Yes.
Well, that's not fun.
What?
Are you saying that dredging up the...
Are you saying that if you're panning for gold, you should have to do it with like old
Yes.
school tools
Yes.
only, like
Correct.
shovels, and then like those
sifter
sieves?
things? Yeah. And you could only have
Wow.
3 teeth. Max.
Wow.
Max.
Okay.
All right.
Anyways,
News piece next.
last news piece.
It's, Ravnica weekend is coming up. So this is a new type of event that WotC's putting on in their local game stores. This one runs from November 9th to the 11th for Guilds of Ravnica. And they're going to do one for Ravnica Allegiance too. And that one is coming up in February from the 16th to 17th. And they're kind of both a little bit different. So the one for Guilds of Ravnica is going to be more social and casual, they said. You can go in and play 4-pack drafts.
Wow.
Which means some pretty good decks.
Exciting.
Guild kit battles and D&D sessions based on Ravnica. So there's a new Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. So you can play D&D Ravnica nowadays, which I think is pretty cool.
Nice.
And the prizes are kind of sweet. Foil basic lands.
But also 11 by 14 prints
Yeah, these are cool.
of the guild leaders.
I like it.
Yeah.
And these are the lands that have the cool like background on them that were previewed earlier this year.
Ooh, yeah.
And then in February for Ravnica Allegiance, it's going to be like a tournament for the store. They can sign up for either, they can set it however they want, standard draft, sealed, whatever. And more guild kit battles, more D&D sessions, and then you get foil full art rares, playmats,
Wow.
guild prints, etc. for
Nice.
that tournament.
Those sound pretty sweet.
So I think that's kind of a cool thing if you're looking for something fun to do on one of these
I
on
like
the
these
upcoming
little
weekend.
prints. This Aurelia one is great.
Yeah, she looks bamf.
Yeah.
I love her fist. It's the Boros fist.
I like her hair.
Oh gosh, that Aurelia hair is my
Which
dream hair.
Sure surprises no one.
What are you saying, Megan?
I don't know.
Your hair looks nothing. Oh, wait a second. It's time for a standard corner.
Just a standard corner.
But this is a pretty exciting standard corner as far as standard corners go.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, we're getting closer to the Pro Tour, which means decks are becoming more and more refined, and we're starting to see the cream rise to the top.
Except for mono red, that deck being blown. Straight to heck.
Why do you hate it so much, Megan?
Why do you think I hate it so much? Are you telling me you don't hate it?
I don't hate it because I usually beat it.
Well, look, I can beat something but still hate it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it is like it's been around for so long. It's like people
You're just tired of it.
Yes. It's like imagine I can't even
Something that bothers you and it's just not around for a
it's
long time.
imagine like there's a puzzle, but you're just like, I don't want a puzzle with a picture on it. Just give me a bunch of interlocking pieces that are all gray. And like that's where you find joy in
Wow.
puzzles. It's not a picture. It's just like, let's put some pieces together. That's the joylessness that I associate with mono red currently, right? Because it's like it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
Do you have so little light in your life?
I didn't know we were doing a what is this deck right now, but apparently we are.
It does seem as though we are. Like, what is this deck?
What is this deck?
And I'm not saying that in like a wow, it's good way. I'm saying like, what sort of nightmare realm spat forth this deck and refuses to take it back into its cavernous jaws and swallow it whole so we don't have to see it for a couple of standard rotations. Go back to the caves from whence you emerged.
Runaway
you little
Steamkin
goblin.
is the worst.
Yes.
I hate that card. Okay, so yeah, you're right. I don't like this deck.
It's
Runaway
terrible.
Steamkin makes me very mad.
It's horrible. It's the worst.
Let's-
It's hot garbage.
Let's take a quick peekaroo at the one that won GP
we
Lil.
can also pretend like it doesn't exist.
I'm going to point it out just because this deck had
Okay.
an interesting thing that it did. So the deck plays 4 Experimental Frenzy, which we noted in earlier episodes is the thing this deck is doing now, right?
Do you know what? Not enough to save it.
Okay.
Not enough to make it
In
cool.
the sideboard of this deck are also 4 treasure maps.
Okay, but I'm going to argue with you again here.
Okay.
Is that Ben Stark did this like a year ago.
With what?
With a deck called Treasure Red,
Yes,
which was
that's
bigger
true.
creatures in mono red, and it was called Treasure Red because it had treasure map in it. So this isn't even an innovation. This is people scrambling for something nice to say about this deck. Okay?
I just thought it was funny. Like, how can a red deck take time off to play something like this?
It's hot garbage.
That was my takeaway. Anyway, everything else about it is exactly the same as you would imagine.
It's terrible. It's horrible. If you enjoy it, who are you?
If you are someone who enjoys it, please tell Megan why. Tweet at us with the hashtag I'm a monster.
Yeah. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you.
Another deck that was super popular this weekend was Is It Drake? Is the
Yes.
name of this game.
Okay, now this is awesome.
Oh, you're into this one.
I'm into basically anything that's not red.
Okay.
Mono
well, I
reds.
mean, all right. Great,
Yeah.
great. So there's, I'm trying to find an Is It one. Here it is.
Yeah. There's a couple of different
Oh, that's
variations
adjust that
on
control.
it.
I'm trying to find it right. Well, we know what the deal is. You play a bunch
Yeah.
of little spells. Here you go. You play 4 Cackling Drakes. You play 4 Enigma Drakes.
You play 4 Arclight Phoenixes.
You win.
Yeah.
Boom. Not every deck.
This one plays 4 Crash Through. Whose list are we looking
So
at right
this
now?
right now is Eduardo Sajgalik, who
Yeah.
also got top 8, which is pretty cool. And the Arclight Phoenix has also been in its own like category as a separate deck from the Is It Drake decks because the deal is that you're playing like exactly like you said, crash through. What's that doing in here? You're just playing a million tiny spells so you can get your Arc-like Phoenixes back. They're very annoying. But there have also been Drake decks that don't run Arc-like Phoenix. So I think this is cool that this one specifically has all three of those threats.
Yeah, and I don't think like in the Is It Drake decks, you would not be playing the 4 crash through.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, this is hyper aggressive, hyper getting these Arc-Light Phoenixes out. And I think this is better too than the decks that just play the Drakes, because if all you have are 8 threats and I'm playing something like Ixalan's Binding and I binding one of your Drakes or whatever.
Wow, you're in so
what are you
much
gonna
trouble.
do?
You are in so much trouble. This also plays 4 Warlord's Fury and 2 Maximize Velocity.
Ooh,
plus
maximize
4 Opt, 4 Shock.
That's
all right.
super scary too. If you maximize velocity on one of those Drakes.
Yeah.
And it's like an 18 power attacker.
Dang, kid.
That's pretty sweet.
Nice.
So this is my preferred build of the old Drakeroo.
All right.
That's cool.
Yeah. But there is also Jeskai Control.
All right, Megan. Let's hear this love letter.
Ely Cassis is playing a Star of Extinction.
In the
Nice.
main deck, no
In the
less.
main deck. Yeah. Wow. And for expansion, Explosion.
Try and get out of that.
Yeah.
You can't usually. You're just going to get
You
20'd.
can't usually. Plus some Settle the Wreckages, some Teferis, some Sealaways. This is great. Ooh, 4 Deafening Clarion.
Yeah, this deck is...
I'm into it.
So this is the one that took down the whole tournament.
Yeah, it did.
And so Brad Nelson was playing Boros Angels, which is pretty close to the deck that I've been playing recently against this. And I'm looking at this list, and he had the same reaction, which is, you just cannot beat it. There's just like, no way. Look at that.
Yeah.
How on earth do you ever win against this if you're playing creatures and trying to do a fair thing?
Well, look, creatures are dumb.
I really want a shirt that just says creatures are dumb.
Yeah.
Megan.
Not even the quote on it, but it just says creatures are dumb.
Creatures are dumb. Yeah, people would buy that, wouldn't they? All right,
Yeah.
I'm putting it down on my notebook of ideas.
All right, everyone. Soon you'll be able to buy more shirts from us.
Yes.
Hint, hint.
This is
wink,
a
wink.
teaser.
And maybe we can make one of them just be a shirt that says creatures are dumb.
Why not?
Why
we
not?
have endless designs we can make.
That's right.
So this has kind of emerged as the control deck, I think, from these tournaments. The one that's good. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Online, I had seen a lot of Esper control, because little friend Chromium, the mutable, coming out.
Yeah.
And I had seen a lot of Dimir control, Dimir surveil discard.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the top tables.
It's true, which is rough because those decks look so cool. Like the Turbo Surveil with the Spy Bugs and Doom Whisperer. Those were really sweet.
Yeah.
Those were some cool ideas that people had.
Agree.
And like maybe it's there. Like maybe people just haven't, like honed in on exactly what it needs to have yet.
That's true.
So we can hold out hope still.
There's still a hope.
Also, Esper Control, here's what I'm going to say about that.
Go for it.
You mentioned it because of Chromium.
Yeah.
And also, like, black usually has really great removal. Like, right now it has Cast Down. It has Price of Fame. Is that the name of the card, right?
Vraska's Contempt still.
Vraska's Contempt.
Dead Weight.
Like, lots of really good removal. But Chromium, like, why are you messing around with win conditions? Is all I have to say.
Whoa!
Like,
Are you
that's-
on the train of Teferi only?
Yes.
Gross.
Because you don't need to win a game of Magic. You
I'm
just
gonna
need to
puke
not
on my
lose a
microphone.
game of Magic. And like things like Chromium, you're just messing around.
Do I need to remind you how much time you have to win in a round?
Yeah, like 50 minutes to finish your first game.
Oh my god. I'm locked in my nightmare. I'm locked in my nightmare. By the way, you reminded me. So you know the Turbo Fog deck?
Yeah.
So on Magic Online, the original OG, you can play this deck, but you need to eventually have a win condition or you're going to clock yourself.
Yeah.
On Arena,
Nope.
this is not true.
Not a thing.
So some real jerks, that is the tamest word I'm going to use, have taken to playing a win conditionless version of this deck and just waiting for their opponents to quit out of not being able to handle it anymore. This happened to me the other day.
Yeah. And do you know what? I'm just going to say...
How you're defending it?
Yeah. Like, it's on you for not quitting sooner.
Oh my God. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
Look, what if I think
They have no way to win the game.
I know, and I think it's so mundane that what you want to do is attack my life total with creatures, and yet I sit around and let you do that. So, like, why are you just not letting me do my thing?
Yeah, but all I'm asking is that you win the game at some point.
I am winning the game.
By me just being like, I can't take it anymore.
Well, no,
Quit.
technically how I'm winning is you mill out and I still have cards in my library.
In this case, there is no milling of the opponent.
But but like naturally, I'm saying over the course of...
In real life, yes, they would mill first before you. What am I trying to say?
Am I taking all the turns with Nexus of Fate?
Yes, you're just So what they do is they just loop Nexus of Fate over and over and over again. So they never deck, but I also never take another turn.
Oh, so you're not drawing cards?
No.
Well, yeah, then I'm just going to say it's on you to concede.
It's so evil. Please don't be that person. Put a win condition. I don't care if it's Teferi. Like, that's fine. I just want you to be able to win. Like, if you can't do it in real life, it's not a real life thing.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that.
It's only an arena
You should at least have a Teferi in your deck.
Can I give you a genius or grifter? And you tell me if this person is genius or grifter?
Yes.
To steal from
This is a game
limited
from
resources?
limited resources. Okay.
So, by the way, I have Marshall's answer.
Okay.
If you want to know.
Okay.
So I'm playing Arena the other day, and I'm playing against a white, green, black deck.
Hold on. We're just going to explain the game quickly.
Yes, go ahead.
For people who maybe don't know it. So Genius or Grifter is a game invented by LR where they have a scenario.
Yeah.
And then you have to decide, is the person involved in the scenario who constructed it, are they a genius? Or are they just someone who's like playing us all?
Yeah, like real
a
hard.
Grifter. I mean, it's all there in the name. I just said more words alongside it.
True.
You get what's going on.
All right,
Okay,
so
let's do this.
I'm playing against a deck that's like, kind of Celestia tokeny plus black.
Okay.
So I guess some people would call this the Knights deck.
Okay.
And my opponent, for some reason I cannot remember, I knew drew a Knight of Autumn.
Okay.
And I had a really great board presence. I was well ahead. And they drew their Knight of Autumn and quickly passed the turn back to me. This was after sideboarding. So this is game 2. And then did the emote, oops. Okay. And I'm like, oh, they forgot to play their Knight of Autumn. Because I, in fact, had a history of Benali out or whatever. So, like, it would make sense that was an oops.
Your wreckage gets settled?
Sure did. Genius or grifter.
Okay. This is tough because I will say that I think that you are a good enough player that you should have known.
Gosh, but I'm also super like, oh, I'll take the benefit of the doubt. They forgot to play their thing.
No, never give them the benefit of the doubt.
I know that now.
I mean, obviously, I'm saying, like, always be kind to people in person. But, like, online, never trust it.
This is also a lesson, by the way, to all the listeners out there.
Because I will say that especially when it's just, like, the limited emotes that Magic Arena uses. So it's not like people can be mean.
No.
So I think I have to say genius.
Oh my God.
Because you should be able to navigate your way around it.
I should have not thought that they were just a nice human who made a mistake and was like, oh,
no,
whoops.
Maria, you're smarter than that.
I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
I mean, okay, actually, that one's so tough.
It's really hard. Because in real life, this is legal.
Yes. And do you know what? I have to say that I would never say anything aloud, but I've definitely played the line of, like, if I notice someone is more likely attuned to my body language and, like, my posture and stuff, I will play that harder.
Like, oh, I don't have anything.
Exactly. Like drawing and slouching lower in your chair, or like shuffling through your, like, cards in hand and sighing a little bit. And I don't think that that's grifting at all.
No, that's playing the game.
Basically, I'm looking at my opponent and being like, hey, I think that you're trying to pick up information. And if you're trying to pick up this information, I'm allowed to give you, like, I'm allowed to mislead you if I'm able to do that in that situation. And so, like, part of me is just like, I think what you're looking at on Magic Arena
is just
version
like
of that. An arena version of that. And so you're trying to read them for more information for what they're doing.
Yep.
And all they're doing is using the tools that they have to, like, mislead you as you're reading them for that information. So I think that it's on you to be a better reader of your opponent. in that scenario.
No one. Trust no one. Yeah, it's super interesting. And the same thing will happen when people tell you good game a lot of times to bait you into a bad attack or something like that. So now I've learned I just don't trust anything.
Yeah.
And I just take it all at like they didn't say anything.
Like the
or
game,
just mute them or whatever.
Yeah, I have never assumed that a good game actually means that until the game is over.
That's true. Yeah.
So what was Marshall's answer?
Oh, he said grifter. He was very upset.
Wow.
But I think if you listen to your argument, he might change his mind.
Maybe. I've never known Marshall to change his mind. But
all right. Well, I'm going to make him listen to this now because I'm interested.
Don't tell him what I just said.
Okay.
Don't let him listen this far.
Marshall, stop listening.
Marshall,
30 seconds ago.
Listening.
Okay, so anyway, that is a long segue.
Wow.
The majority of the decks at both of these tournaments were Golgari mid-range. BTW, which there have been a ton of different Golgari builds running around.
Yes, which is so classic because they're just value cards,
Yes.
right? Like Golgari has black for really good removal.
Yep.
Golgari is green-black, so black for really good removal, or hand disruption sometimes if you need it, depending on the format.
Yep.
And green, which just has like
Good creatures.
Yeah, creatures that are going to be like have a lot of power for their mana cost. And so I think that it's very classic, especially when a format hasn't been like sifted all the way out yet.
Yeah.
For people to just be like, well, that's a winning combination in a lot of instances.
And you have so many Vraskas.
It's true. You have so many Vraskas.
And you've got Vivian Reed.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have so many Vraska choices. Why not run all of them?
Just every Vraska.
But I think the consensus has, at least right now in time, has settled on this mid-rangey deck.
Yeah.
Which is playing 3 copies of Fine Finality to help you clear the board if you need to. Good removal, like you said, Assassin's Trophy, Cast Down, Vraska's Contempt.
Yeah. It also has these classic value creatures. Like we talked about green having creatures that have good power for the mana cost. But in black, you've got Ravenous Chupacabra right now.
Excellent.
Which is just a removal spell. Plus Midnight Reaper, which is a great value card if you're playing against something that's removing all of your creatures. This is the 2 and a black for a zombie knight that says whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card.
Yeah.
Like, just great.
And Golgari Fine Broker, which some different builds run a different number of these to get all of your stuff back.
Yeah.
Ravenous Chupacabra. Some builds are a really reanimation heavy, playing the Eldest Reborn and these kind of effects.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool too. But
So just classic value.
You know which card is a death knell to me is Wild Growth Walker.
Yeah. This card is good against aggro.
You gain so much
And
life.
it's so tough.
It grows huge.
Yes,
in
and
this deck.
quickly, Wild Growth Walker, this is from Ixalan.
Yeah.
Or is it from Rivals?
Rivals.
It's from Rivals. 1 and a green for a 1/3 elemental. Whenever a creature you control explores, put a +1/+1 counter on Wild Growth Walker, and you gain 3 life.
Jadelight Ranger, you're already gaining 6 life off of this card.
Great.
It's kind of nutty. So yeah, that was the most well-represented deck of any across our tournaments here. And what other decks do I want to talk about?
There was a Celestia tokens. I know,
yeah, Celestia tokens.
which we're still kind of waiting. Like you said, there's like been some Knights builds.
Yep.
Which do feel good. Like sometimes if you go like the Knight of Grace into like a History of Benalia into like Knight of Autumn.
Oh.
And then like that Benalia
And then it
triggers.
hits.
And
Yep.
it's that deck can really attack for a lot of damage very quickly.
It's a cool deck. You get to play Flower Flourish to pump up your creatures or go find a land. Sapperling Migration makes 1,000,000 creatures. Conclave Tribunal, you don't even need any mana
Yeah.
to take stuff off the battlefield. Amara is pretty great in this deck, you know.
Yeah, so this is more of a tokens version.
Tokens
It has
version.
4 March of the Multitudes as well.
Venerated Loxodon.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
And
cool creature
Tristani.
deck. And a Tristani. And there was a Celestia Angels version in Lil as well. Lil.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, just kidding. This one was from New Jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Boros!
Yes.
I've been waiting
Maria,
for
you've done
Boros.
such a good job of not jumping the gun and talking about it
I'm so
yet.
excited.
But let's hear about it.
Boros Angels. This is Brad Nelson's list, which has my favorite creature, Danto Vanguard, in it. And then just a pile of mythics. Aurelia is in here. Lyra is in here.
Yep.
Rekindling Phoenix is in here.
Yep.
Resplendent Angel is in here.
Yep.
to Katliana Guard.
Whatever.
That's a rare.
Moving on.
History of Benalia is in here. Yeah, this deck is just like one bomb after another. Boom, deal with it. Boom, deal with it. Boom, deal with it.
Yeah.
That's why I love it. It's great. And you can also play in the other Boros deck in the top 8 was a Boros kind of mentor deck. So it had much smaller creatures. Swiftblade Vindicator, great for mentor. And it's got my favorite, the Bugler in here.
Yeah, you were calling some of these decks Boros, your version, Boros Bugler.
Yes. So mine was not as aggressive as this one is. This also has Tajik Legion's Edge in it. But this looks pretty great.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm into it. Let's touch on this mono blue list from Gabriel Nassif.
Yes. This is kind of like the mono blue decks that we've seen so far, where it has like Tempest Djinn coming down as a real big flyer. It has 4 Siren Storm Tamer. It has 4 Dive Down, different ways to protect these creatures.
Yeah, so you're playing a cheap creature, you're putting Curious Obsession on it, hopefully, and you're protecting it with Wizard's Retort or Dive Down, like you said. Spell Pierce is in this deck, so beware.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see it do so well in the tournament, because it's just like there's only 4 rares. Tempest Djinn, that's it. Otherwise, it's like, so it's super cheap if you want to put it together.
So if you're looking at building something on Arena, you don't have a standard deck on there yet.
Yeah.
Hop on over there.
Very competitive.
Turn your uncommon and common wild cards into this.
All right,
buddy.
Megan. 5-color control.
Rainbow Lich. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, Rainbow Lich.
This is the one with the biggest question mark that you had, right? Of like, is this a thing?
Is this a real deck?
But, you know, I hope so. I love weird stuff like this. I love it. It's got Sweepers and Cleansing Nova. Like we said, it has the combo of Lich's Mastery, which says you can't lose the game, and Chance for Glory, which just gives you an extra turn now. And like it says you're supposed to you're supposed to lose at the beginning of the next turn's end step, but you don't because you have a Lich's Mastery. So I'm very much here for it. Sweepers like Settle the Wreckage, Cleansing Nova. Yeah, into it.
And Expansion Explosion.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Love it.
So
Revitalize to just gain 3 life, draw a card, which with Lich's Mastery.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Gain 3 and draw 4 cards. Nice.
This is a deck that I thought you would have a lot of fun playing. It again has lots of rares and stuff in it, but it's so weird that I'm happy it exists.
Same. Ooh. 4 Discovery and Dispersal for surveilling, 2 Mastermind's Acquisition to go get stuff from your deck.
Lich's Mastery or whatever you need.
Ugh, love it. I'm into this. Like we said, 3 Mirari Conjecture. This deck is just weird enough to hopefully get it done.
So, Megan, a tournament's coming up, a hypothetical tournament. What are you playing? And why? Are you being serious?
Yes.
No way. You wouldn't play Jeskai Control?
Oh, that's so tough. Because, look, I do love Control, but if you've been listening to the podcast since way back in the day, you'll know that one of my very first, so I went through, I played Mono Blue way back in the day. Yeah. The Mono Blue back when Thassa was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I played the Blue-White Control back then. But then I also really enjoyed the standard version of Jeskai Ascendancy combo.
That's right.
So there has always been a part of me that loves Control, but there's also always been a part of me that loves the terrible decks. That loves terrible, combo-y, just
jank
stuff. And so this, there's not always that option. And so when there is that option, I kind of want to do it.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, we might have to head to Magic Online for some time in the near future to see you play this, because I think it's
I love it. Yeah.
Well, there's your standard corner. Plenty to choose from. And narrowing yet again as we quickly approach the Pro Tour coming up in 2 weeks here.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, it's time for a check-in on Guilds of Ravnica draft.
Yeah.
All right, so it's been out for a while. We pre-released, we drafted early and often.
Yes.
Megan, your takeaway. What do you want to draft more than anything else?
Dimir.
Same.
I love it.
Same.
Surveil is so good. Chucking lands.
It's just like...
feels so good. Although sometimes, is it? I also love Is It. Jumpstart is, again, just so good.
Yeah, it is.
There are times when I'm playing against an Is It opponent, if I'm anything else, and I'm just I feel like I just can't ever get ahead because I'm like waiting to be like, maybe I'll run you out of cards, but I can't because they can just recast everything in their graveyard.
Yeah.
It looks like on Arena, it looks like their hand is full of cards because it shows up like the pertinent graveyard cards next to their hand. And it's like, their hand is just still full.
Still stuff.
And I love it.
I think that Dimir is very hard to beat if you are trying to play fair Magic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because if you're surveilling and they're not, you're going to win.
Yeah.
In the end, because you will just have access to so many more
cards.
Spells.
Yeah. And I have come close so many times to decking myself.
Oh, yeah, me too.
All the time.
Once I did deck myself.
Oh, same.
No shame.
Same.
So I do think Dimir is the strongest guild, and I'm going to put Boros on kind of an even footing with that if you put the deck, if it does what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Coming out of the gates fast, strong, Sky Knight Legionnaires curving out. I think that can also steal wins out of nowhere, just like Boros was meant to do. So those are my top two.
So going back to talking about Dimir quickly.
Yes.
I'm going to argue with you here. I think Izzet belongs up there.
Okay.
Like I said, there are just times when it feels like you can't ever pull ahead because it feels like Surveil where it, like you said, like after a while, you'll just have more access to more spells than them.
Yeah.
And then it just feels the same way. Like, Izzet just has more spells because some of their spells you get to cast twice.
That's true.
And it just feels so difficult to play against.
The good Izzet decks are, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
In order to win. It's like they're able to kill you out of nowhere and there's no way to stop it.
Yeah.
Kind of. Especially because they're playing sometimes, I'm going to use this word gingerly, garbage cards. Like maximize velocity, like maximize altitude. But in the Izzet deck, they're not garbage. They're integral.
They're so good.
And
they
then you're
get
like,
the job done.
Am I really going to die to this one mana?
The jumpstart card that a creature deals damage equal to its power to you.
Gravitic Punch.
Yep.
Oof.
They can cast that twice.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you cast it on an erratic Cyclops or something like that, you did.
Yep.
You did.
Yep.
So if you're drafting Dimir, some quick tips. Take everything that says Surveil on it.
Yep. Even Dazzling Lights. You wrote this.
Dazzling
like
Lights.
Cards like that where you're just like, is this card actually good? And it's like, it says Surveil.
It says Surveil on it. Put it in your deck. Thoughtbound Phantasm, which you probably know by now, but at the top of the format, I was like, I don't know if I want to take this. Yeah, you want to take it.
Last week, I drafted a Dimir deck on stream where it was like, we went like turn 1, Thoughtbound Phantasm, turn 2, Night Veil Sprite. And I don't even remember, but by turn 4, we were attacking with our 5/5 Phantasm.
It's just silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do about this? You can't do anything. It's a 5/5.
The only thing I put is remember to win con because you can deck yourself.
Oh, yeah. I've done it.
Boros, very straightforward. You want those Sky Knight Legionnaires. Sometimes I think I even want Healer's Hawk more than I want something like Luminous Bonds. I don't know if that's right.
Overrated sometimes in aggro decks.
Yeah. So, sometimes you just want a creature that you mentor onto.
Yeah.
Celestia has, I wish, really underperformed for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Same.
Which is kind of sad, I think, because it's a really cool guild. But I think the issue is if the game goes long, which, these are not like super fast games unless you're playing against Boros, you just have no way to gain the advantage that you need to get over something like Izzet or Dimir.
Yeah. There's not enough of Green's version of Evasion, which is Trample.
Yep.
I think I've run into, like, you even have listed here, Lead of Champion.
Yeah.
Which is a great card, but it doesn't have Trample. And so sometimes it's just like, all that I'm doing is trying, like, getting my opponent to chump it every turn, but we're late enough in the game. And if it's something like Dimir, well, it's like they've drawn so many more spells anyways. It doesn't matter to them. They're just like, okay, I can. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care.
Something else that people have mentioned is the prevalence of Death Touch at common and uncommon, which, like, Hired Poisoner?
Yeah.
That kills everything.
Which, I have to say, I like this format a lot, and I traditionally like formats where that is the case.
Where there's more Death Touch?
Access to a lot of Death Touch.
Oh.
Because it makes it, right, like, removal is always at a premium. You always want it.
Yeah.
But I like it when you have some flexibility to be like, do you know what? I'm in this color and I didn't get that removal, but I can have Death Touchers, which are going to do the same job.
Do you think you would just put on more Trample and that would solve the problem here?
I think if there were a couple more creatures in the Celestia guild, that had trample, it would probably have a better chance. Like the 4/4 for 5 with Convoke, the Centaur, it has vigilance. Honestly, like give me trample
Give it
instead.
trample on there. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Yeah, and stuff like I think their Convoke creatures should be a little bit better. I'm like, Siege Worm needs to be better. But honestly, it does.
Yeah, it does. And Siege Worm is one of the best because it has trample.
Yeah.
Like when I've lost to Celestia, it's because my opponent drafted multiple Siege Worms. And it's like, you're right. This I can't. Like, you're getting through damage. And I don't have enough ways around it.
Golgari is another one of those guilds that has kind of been like a little bit meh. Is what I wrote in the notes. But however, it has this plus on Celestia in that it has black in it.
Yeah.
So it has access to the good removal.
It's true. I think that for me, part of the issue with Golgari has been that Undergrowth is so touch and go.
Underwhelming?
Depending on what card it is.
Correct.
There are some that it's like, this is a great card with Undergrowth. Like the 6/4 Worm, surprisingly can be pretty good.
Yeah.
That comes down and gives something a
Vigor
big...
Spore Worm.
Yes. But then there's some where it's just like, okay, fine.
I got this Rhizome Lurcher.
Yep.
You know.
Great.
+2/+2. Is it? I mentioned in the notes that you can either play two different ways, a more controlling is it build or a very aggressive is it build, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And you can win out of nowhere. And play those cheap spells that look terrible because they're actually good in this deck.
They're actually good. Anything that says Jumpstart, like we said earlier, anything with Surveil, Jumpstart just says like this, you draw a land, like anything above your 6th land is actually a spell, which is just absurd.
Just take your time on your turn because you could probably figure out how to construct a win out of nothing.
Yeah.
With Is It.
It's true.
So we made a list of some of the top trap cards in the format.
Yes.
Warning cards.
Yeah.
And a one that I figured out literally from my first draft was Join Shields.
Card sucks.
Card's terrible. Never play it.
Do you know what? This one also makes me think of, what's the Golgari one that gives everything Death Touch and then 2 things fight?
Oh, yeah. Undercity Uprising.
That one also bad.
Also meh.
And it's in the same kind of category because they're about the same mana cost.
Yeah.
And are similarly underwhelming.
Similarly, like, whatever.
Okay.
And then
cool.
you chose this next card.
Unexplained Disappearance.
Yeah, agree.
There have been times in Is It decks when I've seen it perform well because if they had like the Drakes or something like that. But like it just
doesn't do enough.
It says Surveil, and yet it is not good in Dimir.
Yeah, agree.
It just
Dimir's
does
not playing the
do
tempo
enough.
game.
Exactly. No, it does not care about bouncing a creature.
No.
So it, even though that's the one exception to when we said take anything that says Surveil,
Don't take that one.
take something else because it is not doing its job.
Citywide Bust is on here, which destroys creatures with toughness 4 or greater. So
Sideboard card though.
great sideboard card.
Amazing sideboard
Don't
card.
put it in your main deck.
Not enough creatures with 4 toughness.
No, there surprisingly are not.
Yeah.
Hazda Marshal.
Man, I feel like people play this against me and they feel like so
They're like,
good.
oh, I'm doing it.
Hazda Marshal, and I'm just like,
Who
you
cares?
played a 1/1. You just played a 1/1.
It's a 1/1 for 1. And then if it makes us 1/1, you just
probably
kill it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you probably had to spend a trick so that your marshal didn't die, or they just ate it, or they ate another creature that you had to attack with to get that ability to trigger.
Not a good
Boring.
Boros card.
No.
Don't believe its lies. Child of Night I have on here.
Yeah. Another one, there's just so many tokens, like so many 1/1s.
And stuff with 1 power and like 4 or 3 toughness.
Yeah. I do think that it's, I'll usually pick one up in my Golgari or Dimir decks to have in the sideboard. I find myself sideboarding it a lot. Just because sometimes, like you said, Boros can be so quick, but if you can outlast their first rush, then you're going to get there. And so I'll sideboard in Child of Nights because it's like, hey, if I can trade with something and gain myself 2 life, then that's going to put me enough ahead that I'm going to be able to stabilize.
Good point.
So
the last card on here is another one that should definitely have trample.
Yeah.
World Soul Colossus.
This is the green-white X Convoke, where it enters with X +1/+1 counters. And it, like you said, without trample, it just does nothing.
It does nothing.
You can I've made like a 12/12 and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. How many times have you actually even hit somebody's life total with this card?
I mean, it was
one time.
It was the classic times when I was already winning the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this card didn't matter. It just solidified the fact that I was winning.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad days. But overall, I'm still like super digging the format. I think it's really fun. I do wish some of these other guilds were a little stronger.
Yeah. That being said, like, sometimes I do draft Golgari or I do draft Selesnya. I still have a really good time.
Absolutely. And if you're drafting in real life with real human beings, draft is self-correcting, and that's the beautiful thing about it. So you can end up with the Nut Selesnya deck or whatever when everyone else is fighting over Dimir, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess I win now.
Now I do get to win.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, do you like to put your cards in sleeves?
Hey, do you like to put your cards in binders?
Hey, do you like to put your cards on a pretty playmat?
Hey, do you like to put your cards in boxes?
Hey, do you like to roll dice?
Hey, do you like this?
If you said yes to any of those questions.
Yeah. Ultra Pro.
Ultra Pro is where you can find all of this awesome gear for your magic lifestyle.
Do you want to be the smarty pants who's keeping life totals with an abacus? A stinking abacus, I said, because you can. They have abaci.
They have magic abaci.
They have magic abaci.
And I've got this life counter here, which is just like super sweet. It looks like a statue, and you move the base around in a circle.
Yes, I think you move the top around.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. Anyway, it's really cool looking.
It's awesome. So go there. If you're looking to just be like, I'm the jazziest person in my store.
And then you wear a top hat
with
a
like
cane.
a little bow tie.
Yeah.
And you do a tap number. You don't have to do any of that. You can just get awesome Ultra Pro swag.
All right, kittens, that's our show for this week.
Yeah, buddies.
We have to announce our winner of our October drawing.
That's right.
The winner is Dave Mastroianni. Sorry if I butchered your last name, from Connecticut.
Wow, Connecticut.
Yes.
A tiny state that's doing a lot. I actually don't know a lot about Connecticut, so I cannot verify anything that I just said about Connecticut.
The crab state.
That is certainly not true.
No, they don't have crabs in Connecticut?
Do they?
I don't know.
Are you thinking of lobsters?
Sea bug, whatever. They're both sea bugs.
Are lobsters and crabs related?
They're like brother and sister.
No, they're not. At best, they are cousins.
Sure, I'll take cousins on
Listen,
that.
if you want to claim your prize, you need to let us both know your mailing address, and you need to message us with the exact nature of the relationship between crabs and lobsters.
We need to know these things. But anyway, you won.
Yes, congratulations. Also, November is MTA Community Month.
Yes.
Nope, I said it wrong.
What is it? Say the real name.
Hey, everyone. Also, November is GLHF Community Month.
Great.
Where you have to check in with your local game store before you do this. But if your local game store wants to have some Good Luck High Five stickers, we will mail you a set of stickers to set out there or to give to people at your local game store. And for you setting it up, we'll also mail you a little prize.
Yes.
So again, please don't message us if you haven't talked to your LGS first, because some of them might have rules
about that,
about what kind of literature or whatever they'll put out. But if they want to have some GLHF stickers to have out, let us know.
Yeah. Do not use them to wallpaper your room.
No.
Although that would be cool.
We do not have enough.
We don't have enough for that. So sorry.
Sorry.
Also, they cost money.
Yes. But we will send you some for free during the month of November to have out at your LGS.
Yeah. So you can find our email through our website, goodluckhighfive.com. Just email us through that contact form after Megan said you have talked to your LGS and you're like, I want to put these out, and we'll send you a prize too. Please be sure to include your mailing address in that email so we know where to send everything.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you want to enter the giveaway that Dave just won, you can do it by hitting the gleam.io link in the show notes of this podcast or under the YouTube video for the rest of the month to be entered in our November drawing, where you get Good Luck High Five swag, stuff from Card Kingdom, stuff from Ultra Pro.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Coming up next
Nice.
weekend is a Grand Prix, a modern Grand Prix.
That's right.
In Atlanta before the Pro Tour.
That is factually correct.
So good luck to everybody if you're going and playing in that.
Yes.
And we've got some more updates about our pro team. Pro
In
team,
the
good luck,
works.
high five.
That's right.
It's so cool.
So I'll have those for you next week.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, and thank you once again, before we take off, to everyone who supports the show and makes it possible through our Patreon, patreon.com/GLHF Magic, and to our wonderful sponsors, Card Kingdom and Ultra Pro. Go check them out, buddies. I use the word buddies too much. I'm working on it. Okay. Bye.